Just to let you guys know, this video is from the previous season, but pay attention because there's still a lot of things that we can learn, especially this concept that I talk about at the very beginning of this video. So make sure you pay attention. I know it's from the previous season, but all the little details still apply. Just make sure that, you know, because of the new meta and the new mobility, try to shift your mindset because of the mobility items, but still maintain the same playstyle that Reet does in this video, because I think it's very applicable to regardless of what season it is. Reet's playstyle is applicable. It's timeless. So make sure you pay attention to that aspect of the video. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be learning how to W key like Reet, and we're going to be covering this video in a different style, just like the video one, and we're going to be covering his solo cash cup highlights, and more specifically how he W keys in endgame. He's good at W keying in every stage of the game, but specifically endgame, there's something about Reet that he's so consistent with. I really feel like that the reason that he gets all these kills is because of the fact that he really abuses enemy awareness. Now let me explain further about that, right? Reet is really good at understanding where the enemy awareness is directed at. Okay, what I mean by that is that he just really understands, okay, is this guy looking at me, or is this guy completely distracted, or is this guy completely unaware of where I am? Every time someone's already looking at him, he tries to avoid that engagement if he has no other advantage, because really, if the enemy doesn't know where you are, then if you go for a shot on him, he's not going to trade damage back, right? And it's really good to go for completely positive trades in a way that you're not taking any damage back. A lot of people look at Reet and it's like, oh, he's so mechanical, he's so piece control, like, but then they miss the fact that he always goes for targets that are unaware of his position. And we're going to be learning about that in this video. I really encourage you guys to watch the whole video because I'm going to be going in depth and putting a lot of effort into this video. Let's get into it. So basically, he's landing on Zay Hill. This is his solo cash cup spot. He's really confident in winning this pickaxe battle, just because of the fact that he lands first. If you land first and the guy's landing on top of you because he wants that single chest, you can actually pickaxe him before his feet even touch the ground, right? So like, you guaranteed win. So as long as you win the glide, right? Just like this, he hits him midair. As long as you win the glide, you should win the pickaxe battle. Right here, he hits him 73. This guy's still fighting after getting hit, right? This guy, if he has mats, the aggro fragger guy who died right now, if he has mats, he should be tunneling away after that first hit. But maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't have mats. We've gotten into end games. There's Surge in this game, so it's clearly a very stacked game. Pads ahead. Really good idea to pad ahead because of the fact that zone double pulls forward. So you see where zone's coming from? You see the ping? That's where half was, right? And first moving ended right here. Now second moving pulled forward again, which means front half of zone is really uncongested, right? Because that's where dead side is. So if we look at it again, like this south side of the zone is dead side. I think that's a really good idea to pad here, right? Because you can just land ahead where literally no one is. There's only one guy in front side right now. He finds a really nice layer, gets ahead, even tanks storm. He's not worried about that. He actually doesn't even take a tick. So I really encourage you guys to really think about landing in storm, right? If you land on front side edge storm, you might take one tick. That's it, right? But you get a really, you get way more ahead. Someone lands in his box here, he doesn't encourage it because he doesn't have a shotgun out, he doesn't have information on the enemy, and it's really important that he doesn't need to, go for that. Right now, look at his mats, right? There's a really important risk-reward lesson. He doesn't need that kill. The only reward he can really get from that kill is like 200, 400 mats, right? That's not significant, especially when he has this many mats right now. All he needs to do is tunnel. He'll look for kills, but he will never go for 50-50s in this case, right? It's not important. Like right here, disengages, doesn't smack on the wall, no need. And when you have a lot of mats and your front side, especially in this case, when it double pulls forward and front side, dead side, height's gonna have a really hard time keeping up, right? And so Reet recognizes this, goes for height, gets the full box on this guy, and then tries to double edit to go for the piece, but this guy runs away, which is a smart decision on the enemy's end. He constantly hears someone underneath him, right? He hears someone underneath him, which is why he's hesitant to go ahead right now. Because if he goes ahead, he could get cranked on from behind. He's just pressuring second height. Whoever is the biggest threat to height, Reet tries to pressure. Because right now, heal off zone pulls backwards in the direction that where everyone came from, which means there's old builds that people can run over. So Reet knows this, right? He doesn't need 14 builds. He doesn't even need this many builds, right? He can actually recycle so many builds like this wall that he's standing on to conserve mats. And that's the reason why he knows he doesn't need to go for an impact right away. He does need an impact, but not right away, right? So he has a lot more time than it's immediately obvious, right? He's trying to kill this guy on second height because that's his biggest threat. Again, super good angle right here. He goes for an angle where he knows that guy's going to be unaware, right? He's constantly surprising his opponents, and I want you guys to pay attention to that. Really good angle there, clearly unaware. That's a good piece control. Right now he has HP advantage, right? And at this point, the unawareness aspect doesn't matter as much. He needs to kill this guy, right? He hit him like 40 cracked at the very last shot, and Reet's still like full HP. So he's pressuring this guy. This guy's second height. No real like third party potential from below. As you can see, they have close tops, and he gets this kill. He's recycling a lot of builds. That's what I really like about him. At this point, you can only do your best, right? If the other guy has like chuck cannon floppers off of that last kill that he got, there's not much you can do, right? But Reet, just like to get to this point is the most important aspect. And I think if you can get to this point, you're gonna be chilling, right? He's trying to wait for this guy to come out, but I think Reet knows he had a better heal off. Like if you pay attention, right? Reet's still in zone, hasn't gotten ticked yet, but the enemy is not in zone, right? The enemy is back in these boxes. So Reet actually has a better heal off. You actually can hear him, the other guy healing off, right? So Reet's gonna just use his charges and then go for the fight, because he doesn't have real reason to believe that like he's ahead, because he only had 2 charges and the other guy had like 4 or 5. So he goes for the fight, which in my opinion seems like the right play. Yeah, I haven't even mentioned this. This is NA East. Reet's on high ping, right? Because he's a West player. This is really important because this proves, right? This proves that his game sense is what's actually taking over here. It's not the fact that he's so fast. He can't outpace anyone on this region. He cannot, right? Because of his ping. You can actually even see the fact that his builds are delayed, right? So he's going to play full macro. He's going to play full game sense and rely on that and be smart rather than rely on the fact that he's going to outpace someone. I think outpacing someone is not even reliable on your own region. He's the perfect height to go for the pad, and also a really easily choppable height. And one thing I want you guys to understand, he just got an impact, did he not? Right about here. This and the one kill before. So like he has really good mats, right? For half. He's like 4-5-3. Like that's insane mats for half. Especially for stack games. So he knows that he can go for this. Especially because it's just choppable. It's just a really nice opportunity to go for. And takes height with wood. He's trying to get this guy off of him, right? Because he knows this is the height guy that he just took height from. He could be, you know, wanting revenge and come back. So he always focuses the most important target when you're on height, which is usually second height. But sometimes it's usually the person that you just had interactions with, right? Because they know you took height. And a lot of people play emotional in solo cash grips. Like this guy just shot at him, right? This guy just shot at Reet. So Reet's going to focus him instead. He doesn't want to go ahead and then have this guy take height from behind. Whenever you're back storm on height and you're looking forward, it's actually really easy to make sure that no one from ahead is cranking. But that's not the problem, right? If you're back storm, it's not necessarily the biggest threat that people from ahead are going to go for it. It's the people right under you. Because when you're on height, the people right under you know that you're unaware. That you can't see that area, right? You have no vision of that area whatsoever. He has to cancel medkit, and he's just going to use the rest of his mats to try to keep height. Because this guy's sent to grief him. But zone hasn't pulled yet, right? Still hasn't showed. It shows right now. And Reet immediately knows where it pulls. Like, he probably looks right there, right? But, like, he has really good awareness and, like, the fact that he remembers to look because he's in a fight. And usually when people are in a fight in endgame, they forget to look at a minimap. When next zone shows, they don't capture that information and understand where it goes. It's a really important aspect to understand where it goes. This is very key right here. This is really key. You can see through the wood builds that this guy's looking off to the left, which means, right, you can go for that kill because you're gonna get first shot before the guy even reacts. But he only goes in from an angle where he knows the enemy's not looking. He keeps blocking his head here, but he knows there's people above him. He has 3 builds right now. Tries to get this wall in case this guy edits out. He does. Free kill here. Immediately builds after. He needs to, right? Because people are gonna look for the third party. His win condition there is just to drop down. Like, he's not gonna get a kill above him. No chance, because he has no builds. So he needs to drop on someone's head. Okay, there's 4 people, right? And he just saw someone drop, and he knows that was the height guy because he can hear 2 people below him, right? Right, this guy that just dropped down, right? Reet already knew that this guy's the only guy on height because he can hear 2 people below him, right? And there's 4 people alive, right? So that allows Reet to know that he can, you know, take height without even looking up. He doesn't even need to look up. He just knows he has height. And that guy, the body language of the guy that just dropped down on him, to me, it shows that he has no mats left, right? Because he's going for a desperate play on Reet. But Reet ramps him off and immediately goes for height. He doesn't have the heal off right now, so he has to actually go down to get the kills. It's very desperate, right? If anyone down here has chuck cannon, he's going to heal off and he's going to run towards the enemy because he needs to. Luckily for Reet, he tags him and gets the kill, so that's really good. Don't worry so much about the last final fight, even though it's like, you know, victory royale is a lot of points. What I would worry about the most is the fact that you get to top 2 in the first place, because we just saw 2 games. Obviously, you know, this is cut, like there's not every single game, but we just saw 2 games where he gets second place, and then, you know, he plays it the best he can for the final 1v1. Good for him because he wins, right? But it's most important that you do everything else beforehand, right? Because that's the hard part. The hard part is to get to second place in the first place. If you can do that, then, you know, half the games that you get second place, you might win. Unaware, again, even left hand peek, doesn't matter. You can tell the guy's unaware because he's opening looking at something else, right? He's spraying at someone else. Notices free height, goes up for it. Reet's awareness is very, very good. It's very, very good, right? Because not only is he aware of enemy positions, right, like, and where they're looking at, right, he knows that he can go for height here. This might have even been his height. I really don't know because we don't have context of this game, but I really think that his awareness is why he succeeds. He reads everything. He reads whether people are going for height. He reads, you know, what they're looking at, whether they're aware of Reet. This is the most important thing in this aspect in tournaments, is to make sure that you understand how to play the game in a game sense fashion, right? And even the cracked people, even Kanata, even Clicks, right, they actually have good game sense. It's just really difficult to see because their mechanics overpower it. And I feel like Reet's in a similar place. I feel like Norilli's in a similar place. People need to learn how to appreciate, right, what's actually good about them and what's actually causing the wins for them. That's the number one thing, right? Like, no matter how good you are at creative, that doesn't enable you to take height more frequently. Gets ahead, does this L shape to look backwards. It's a really good angle to do this, like candy cane L shape to look backwards. You get a really good angle of everything behind you. Understanding your position in the game in terms of your map count, understanding that is really important in order for you to understand how to go for height. But also the awareness is key as well. Like, if you don't have good awareness, you'll never understand like when you can go for height. That's a really good small edit there to go for a peek right there. He's gonna try to get in. Awareness checks him, right? So like that would work if the guy didn't hold his wall. So he goes for it once, and then after it doesn't work once, that means the enemy's aware of Reet's position, right? So in that case, just don't go for it anymore. So he just awareness checks him once, right? Just tries to go for the wall once, the other guy holds it, and then Reet stops. Really good play in my opinion, right? It's a good idea. And then he gets away. Goes for a different angle. It's better to go for a different attempt when the other guy's probably unaware from that angle, right? Notice his really good awareness that this guy's going for height, and he's able to keep it because of that fact. Think about how hard it is to immediately see that this guy's going for height, and Reet's awareness to understand and process it and immediately react and do the correct play. Insane, right? It's really, really good. Someone with mediocre mechanics, acceptable mechanics, can recreate this, right? And it's mostly important that you guys understand this aspect, right? This is what you guys need to train. If you want to do good in solo cash cups, it's your decision making that determines it. Obviously, mechanics is a complement. It can help you, it can assist you in certain situations, but it's mostly important that you focus on the right things if you want to do well in the next season that's coming up. So really make sure that you're focusing on the right things and you're focusing on the in-game decisions, because that's what matters the most. A lot of builds above him, so Reet should totally go up, right? Because of the fact that there's a danger. If someone tanks Storm, someone just runs out into Storm from a layer below him, launch pads, and lands above him on old builds, then Reet loses height. And he stays a little bit higher. But then he notices here, there's like no launch pad angle, right? So you can start dropping. How to find the angle where the enemy doesn't know where you are. Like, how is he... Like, that's what I'm talking about, right? It's you jump down when you think the enemy's not aware of your position, and you get a huge advantage in the fight. This guy's clearly aware, right, of where Reet is, because you could see. Look, let me show you the body language. This guy swung twice, right? If he swung again, it's probably clear that the enemy doesn't know where Reet is, but he stops. The enemy stops swinging. To me, that's good body language, that the enemy knows where Reet is and he's standing there. And obviously it's like, oh, like Reet's standing right in front of him. How does he not know? A lot of people will actually swing through that wall and not see the enemy right in front of him. A lot of people, surprisingly, right? So Reet does that awareness check, drops him down, and gets the kill. This one is a really good example of making sure that, you know, he has a jump on him. This guy's a pickaxe though. Like, that's really, really good macro by Reet. Like, he like, even if Reet misses that shotgun shot, he still wins that fight. That's how you know it's good macro, right? I've said this before. Because if you watch this VOD review and then use these little tricks where, you know, you go for angles where enemies not aware of you, and you go for that first shot, maybe even the second shot if they're like really low reaction time, that's going to really benefit you in solo cash cup endgames, especially in endgame when you have so many other things to focus on. Enemies are going to be distracted, right? They're not going to be focused on one thing, and they're not going to be focused on you. When you go for a mid-game fight, they only have you to focus on. You don't have that advantage where you can go for unaware angles, right? That's the key thing to notice. And I think Vidil actually does a good job of this as well. If you watch that Vidil VOD review that I did earlier, you'll see the same thing. You'll see the exact same thing. I hope you guys are excited for the next season, and we'll see you guys then with a whole bunch of new videos. Peace.